Hey guys, so today is going to be another declutter video and I'm going to be doing my MAC blushes. My room is super messy, so I'm trying to keep this really cropped in on the products that we're talking about. I don't want you guys to see the rest of my room, so if you see any really messy stuff, then pardon that. So we're going to do decluttering. So I thought I would just show you how I store them. This is how I have them in my Alex drawer. So these are just little clear little things you can get anywhere. I believe I got those translucent ones at the Container Store. I'll link them, of course. These are by Allegory. Some more Linus shallow drawer organizers. And since we're here, why don't I just show you a little peek into the rest of my blush drawers. So I will be doing, I think, the rest of my blush declutter maybe in 1 or 2 parts. I definitely want to go through and do my Tarte blushes because I do have almost all the colors, but I don't reach for all of them. So here's another blush drawer and basically the same kind of organizational things. So here's my, this is my last blush drawer. So I just have some of these compact organizers here and then cream blushes over here. And then, yeah, so is that, let me see that. Let me just give you a preview. Why not? This is my highlighter drawer. I'll just show you all my non-lipstick products. Bronzer drawer and powder. This thing is from, actually it's cut. My husband cut it with a saw. You can see that. A saw, right? That's what you cut it with. I don't know what kind of saw he used, but it was from IKEA. So let's go over to my regular filming station and I'll show you my MAC blush collection. We'll do swatches and we will declutter. I will have on my accompanying blog posts all the ones in the order, and then I'm also going to have the ones that I'm going to get rid of, and by getting rid of, I'm actually going to sell them. And I'm not sure of the price yet that I'm going to sell them for. The ones I am going to get rid of, they've probably only been swatched, maybe worn once or twice, so worn less than 3 times. Great condition, you guys can see for yourself here. Actually, let's start with this one that's still in the box. And I just yelled, which is kind of disturbing. This is Peony Petal. I'm not going to swatch this one because it is brand new. So whoever gets it or whoever wants to buy it will be brand new. Oh, the reason I don't know the price that I'm going to sell my blushes for is because I really underestimated shipping costs for my lipstick sale. And I have to just like see and do a little bit more research and see how much it's going to cost to ship the blushes and how much I want to sell it for. Of course, I will sanitize them, and how I sanitize them is basically I just spritz them with alcohol and rubbing alcohol and then lightly dust off the first layer. That's what makeup artists do. That's what Sephora and Ulta, like that's how they're sanitary. So I know some of you guys were interested or worried how it's sanitary, so there's that. But anyway, it's like the longest intro ever. This is Peony Petal. It's a satin finish. And all these are powder blushes. I actually do not own any cream blushes from MAC. I just am not a big cream blush person, so this one, I haven't worn it, so I'm going to get rid of it. And when I say get rid of it, I mean I'm going to sell it, and then if it doesn't sell, I'll reevaluate. Some of them I know if they're going to be limited or if they were limited edition, but some of them I'm just not sure. So this one is Lovecloud. It's a satin finish, and I honestly can't even remember wearing this. I'm probably swatched it because I'm sure like I hauled it and swatched it. So right now I'm just going to try to do like really delicate swatches because I am going to be selling some of these, so I don't want to like goober all over. I don't know. I'm going to change the ISO. I don't know if that's too bright. Hang on. I just turned down the ISO, so it's pretty low right now. It's 200, and I think that shows it better. It's always a little bit different to see it in my monitor than it is like when I get it and edit it. But anyway, I'm just trying to like tell you guys everything so you know like all the details. So there is Lovecloud. Gonna pass it along because I have a ton of colors that are very similar. So getting rid of that one. Next up is Blushbaby. Blushbaby is a sheer tone blush, which I really love the sheer tone blushes and then the sheer tone shimmer. I just find that they're really, really easy to work with, and you can build up the pigment and the coverage, but like the name implies, it's sheer tone. I'm keeping Blushbaby because I really do enjoy this blush. It's a very natural, just like rosy type blush. So I love that. I'm going to keep that. This one is Royal Sunset, and it's a satin finish. I am gonna get rid of this. I just know, because I can't even remember the last time I swatched it or wore it or anything. It's really pretty. Royal Sunset, it's that really pretty peachy pink, for lack of a better description, but satin finish. It's really beautiful, but easily dupable, especially in my blush collection, as you guys got that preview for, or preview of. Okay, this one is Flaming Chic. Ooh, this is an extra dimension blush. So I don't think this is available anymore. I think it is limited. I don't know. And you guys will have to let me know, like, what are you willing to pay for a used, something that's been swatched, like these new ones has been swatched or worn less than 3 times. What do you guys think is fair? So this one, you can see the wear a little bit more. I love these. I'm gonna put these in the maybe pile. I have a few different extra dimension blushes. They're just different. They just go on. It's almost, it feels like a gel kind of. I'm not too familiar yet with the new Makeup Forever bronzers. They're like that gel consistency, but I just love, this is like kind of awkward, I just really love those extra dimension blushes. So I'm going to put all the extra dimension blushes in a maybe pile for now. Okay, so I actually did go ahead and pull out the other extra dimensions to show them to you all side by side. Yeah, like I said, I don't think these are still available. I could be totally wrong, but if you ever see them at a CCO, I really love the formula. So let me open them and show you, or let me just compare all of them at this angle, then we'll go individually. This one is at Dusk. Oh my gosh. This one is Bareness. Yeah. These are, no, I'm going to keep all of these. They're not even going in the maybe pile. I remember how much I love these. Fiery Impact. And then the Flaming Chic was the first one that I showed you. This one was at Dusk. Just a beautiful, kind of a neutral pink. Now that I'm going to be getting rid of some of my blushes, I can use the ones that I love more, which is the point of it, for me anyway. So there is at Dusk, extra dimension. This one is Fiery Impact. With a tan. I can't even with this one. So Fiery Impact. And then Bareness, which is probably one of my favorite nude blushes of all times. I mean, it is so good. Look at that color. I mean, I have a little bit of a self-tan lingering. You can see, like here, I just scrubbed my skin in the shower and there's still some of the self-tan left and I couldn't get off. So my hand is pretty NC15-ish. Pretty pale, but this is probably like N25 maybe, in case you're wondering. Okay, so next I decided to pull out all my mineralized blushes, and that's probably as far as organizing that I'll do. So I'm gonna start with this one. This one I got at a CCO a couple years ago. So it was at a CCO a couple years ago, and it's the color Sakura, which was limited edition. Now I've only used it a couple times. And it's been more one of those blushes that's almost just more pretty than anything for me. You can get the light, the beautiful, like almost lavender pink color if you use the outer part, and then the inner part is like that little heart, so you can get more of like a fuchsia color. This is the heart color, and then this one's the all over color. Well, and then I guess if you swirl it all around, you can get a third color out of it. So that is Sakura. I just can't keep it. I love it, but that color, I just don't wear it that often, and I probably have something similar, which is, I actually do, I'm looking at it right now, Full of Joy, that we'll get to. Actually, let me go ahead and compare Full of Joy, since it's very, I think it's going to be similar. Full of Joy is a frost finish, so is Full of Joy limited? I feel like it was limited edition, but then it came back. I'm not even sure. So those two look very, very similar. I wouldn't say a dupe, but I'm going to keep Full of Joy, and I'm going to sell this one, and I have a feeling that it's going to be more than the average mineralized blush price on like Amazon or anything, so I'm gonna see how much that one is going for and price it accordingly. My other mineralized blushes, and I do love these, and I am not a fan of the new packaging. Let me show you the new packaging. This is a mineralized skin finish natural, like a powder in the color medium plus, which is like a self tanning shade for me. So the new packaging is somewhat similar to that. It's magnetic. I prefer the old packaging, I'm just saying. This one again is gentle, or I don't know if I said that, mineralized blush, and this is one of my favorites. I'm gonna keep this one. I really love those mineralized blushes. This is like a raspberry color with a little bit of sheen, which I love for fall, but that kind of, I don't know, that color would look beautiful in the summer with the tan, so keeping that one. This one is Petal Power, and basically it's like that NARS Orgasm peachy pink with like gold sheen in it, which is very, I mean, there's like a ton of other blushes that are similar to that one, and I honestly cannot remember the last time I wore it. I'm gonna get rid of that one. I'm gonna sell that one. So that one again was Petal Power. I love Floor Power, which I'll get to. So this one everybody should own. It is Warm Soul. This one is not going anywhere. It's like a nude with like a bronzy nude with a little bit of gold, just like a little bit of gold. So there is Warm Soul. This one I don't remember purchasing, which is a problem. It's Azalea in the Afternoon. It's a really beautiful pink. I'm actually gonna Google that one real quick and see if it's permanent, and I'll swatch it right here. It is notable that I do have my makeup artist discount with MAC, so I do most of these have been purchased with 40% off discount. Some of them I've had for a while that I purchased well before my discount, but I do want to note that because it does obviously bring the price of these down, so I feel like it helps justify my collection a little bit. And I love makeup, so yeah, it's a lot, it's excessive to some, but I just want to shout those out, those little factors. So I'm actually gonna Google that and see if it's a permanent or limited. I feel like I haven't heard it talked about a lot. I think it's a limited edition. By the way, my phone's probably really gross looking, but I am not a fan of the new MAC website. I feel like it's so cluster-effy. I just can't even deal with it. Well, I think Azalea in the Afternoon was a limited edition because it didn't come up. So I'm gonna get rid of it because I have a lot. It's almost like a brighter, whoop. I wonder if that's going to be close to, is it called It's a Wisp? It's a newer mineralized blush. I don't have it, but I've been wanting it. But this color, I'm sure if it's limited edition, there's going to be some demand for it, as there always is with limited edition, so I am going to sell that. Okay, so next is one that I recently featured in a weekly favorites, or the Beauty Buzz. It's Mandarin Rose. It's a sheer tone shimmer blush, and I really do love it. But I just don't know how often I would wear it because it is really pigmented. It's like a bronzy terracotta rose. It's, I don't know. I just don't wear it that much because you do have to work just a little bit with it. I think it'd be even more beautiful on like darker skin. So gently used. I think I'm gonna pass it. I'm gonna sell it. I have to be brutal. Next up is Cubic, and it's a satin finish, and I'm gonna take this one, I'm gonna compare it. I'm actually gonna just put all of my nude ones that I think are similar, like Blushbaby that I already showed you, and I'm just gonna put them to the side, and maybe at the end I'll compare them if this video isn't super long, and I'll see if like which ones I need to keep at that point. So right now it's gonna be a maybe, so I'm taking Blushbaby and I'm putting it in the maybe pile for now. Next is Pinch of Peach. This, you guys, okay, so look, see, like there's a huge divot in there. This one is a sheer tone shimmer blush. I'm taking you back. I probably had this blush for way too long, but it was the first blush that I ever got from MAC. and I was in undergraduate, and it was like whatever the MAC blushes cost then. Maybe like I paid $17, and it was so hard to pay that much for a blush back then. Little did I know my blush obsession, or my love for makeup. My love for makeup back then was just blossoming. So keeping that one, obviously I wouldn't really want to sell that because it is older and it is definitely used more than gently used, so keeping that one. Pinch of Peach, by the way, is a must-have. I think it's a really great one to have. This one is Melba, definitely keeping this one. This is a matte finish. I think my friend Kristen from Beauty Moxie, yes, she got me this one in a makeup swap, which I will link that video below. It's like an old video on my channel, but Melba is just like the perfect like nude peach beige. You guys can just see for yourself. So I love Melba, and I'm gonna keep it. I love it. Melba is a must-have as well. And maybe, since I'm saying like some of these are must-haves, maybe after I go through and save, you know, whatever ones I'm keeping, I can do an actual MAC favorites blush, or must-have blushes by MAC. I also want to do like a MAC starter kit, or a MAC top 10 products. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Let me know if you guys, I know there's like a ton of those out there, but okay, anyway. See, I get really chatty in these videos. So this one is Buff, and Buff is a matte finish as well, and I'm gonna put this one in the pile of those other nude type blushes, and then compare them at the end and see. This one is not really swatching very well. I wonder if it has to, what in the world? This one is not picking up a lot of pigment. I actually had to scrub pretty hard. So I don't know if it just has like a, now it looks all bumpy. Do you guys see that? I don't know if that's something with Buff that is just like a thing, or I don't know if mine is bad or what the situation is. So anyway, I'm going to put that in the, these are the ones that I have so far, in the like the neutral ones, and then compare. That was weird. This one is Breezy, and Breezy is a sheer tone shimmer blush, and I can already tell that I'm gonna get rid of this one because it's just too dark and it's too much. It's too much to work with when I'm a fair skinned girl, which is like most of the year. It's so pretty though. Almost has like a nice, it's like a raspberry with a nice little sheen to it. And it's the sheer tone shimmer, which I love, but I just think it'd be more beautiful on somebody with darker complexion. I mean, it's really pretty on fair skin. What am I saying? I'm gonna get rid of it, long story short. Boom. Okay, so next is Pink Tea. And I think this one was limited as well. I'm gonna put this one in the nude blush pile and compare, but it is more pink than anything, and I really do like it. So I probably, actually, you know what? That's actually different. I can already tell it's different than those other ones. It's more pink. I am gonna keep that one because I really like that one. I think I got that at CCO, so maybe it was limited edition and then possibly it relaunched, because I know some of the blushes that I have, that was the situation. And then next is Immortal Flower, and this is a satin finish. So that is Immortal Flower, and I can tell that I swatched it, but I can't even remember if I've worn it, and it's definitely like a peachy color. It's a really pale peach. Can you even see that? I'm gonna get rid of that one. There you go. I'm gonna get rid of it because I am. That's it. Okay, so this is Gingerly, and this one is a sheer tone blush. And I think I'm gonna have to keep Gingerly because I love this color. It's just it might look a little patchy when I swatch it because I've been cleaning with this and then drying it off with a towel. So it's a little bit damp still, so that's why it's patchy. But yeah, I love Gingerly. It's just like a beautiful reddish rose, like a dusty rose, like beige with a little bit of like that red hint. So I wonder if it's worthwhile putting in the, no, it's different enough that I'm not going to put it in the nude pile to compare. So love that one. Spring Sheen. This blush should be called Spring Sheen Hill for Jaclyn Hill. It's a sheer tone shimmer blush. This was one of the first blushes that I got when I had my MAC discount, and it was because Jaclyn Hill. I mean, it's just so common though. I don't know. I think I'm gonna put it in the get rid of pile. It's just like a NARS Orgasm shade. Peach. It's really beautiful. It has like that gold sheen, but I'm gonna maybe try to sell that one just because I don't know, it's a dime a dozen kind of. This one is Honey Jasmine, and it is a satin blush. And this one is gonna be, I'm gonna get rid of it as well because it's just too peachy orange for me. And I just don't wear that color enough. So Honey Jasmine, I'm gonna sell that one. Sweet as Cocoa. This is a sheer tone shimmer. Is it? Yeah, sheer tone shimmer. Sweet as Cocoa. So it is one of those darker colors that I think is so beautiful on darker skin, but it is really beautiful, and I did like this like in the fall and winter on fair skin when I was not even close to being self-tan. But it is one of those colors, I don't know, I really like it, but I'm gonna get rid of it. I just can't keep it because I just don't wear it enough, although I do recommend it. It's kind of hard. Like, I feel like I'm hypocritical with some of this because I love them and I definitely recommend them, but it's like I can't personally keep them in my collection. So this one is Floor Power. It's a satin finish, and this one was another one of the original, the OG blushes that I got from MAC, and I'm going to keep it. And Floor Power is just, it's the perfect corally peach color. It is so pretty on, I mean, I think it would be pretty on all different skin tones. You build it up a little bit if you're darker, but medium and fair and light and porcelain, beautiful. So I'm keeping that one. We're getting down to it. Bin number 1 is what we're left at. This is Well Dressed. Well Dressed is a satin finish. It's kind of a little B because it's a really pretty color. I actually might have to back to MAC mine because I've had it for probably 4 years, which is kind of gross. I mean, yes, you still can sanitize it. Mine has like kind of a built up film on it, which can happen if it's been in extreme heat or extreme cold. And even if you know, if you keep your blush in the shower, or not in the shower, in the bathroom when you take a warm steamy shower, it can do that. Or even if your blush is like by the window, like, and you live in South Dakota or somewhere really cold, that is Well Dressed. It's a really just baby pink. What I'm gonna do is back to MAC that. So, I mean, unless anybody would want to buy it, if you are interested in buying it, let me know, but I feel like it's too old to even sell it. So yeah, I'm gonna back to MAC it, and maybe I'll repurchase it one day. But I do like, for that similar color and just a blush that's easier to work with, is Illamasqua Blush and Katie. So I'm putting that in like the actual back to MAC pile. This one is Margin. It's a frost finish, and it's really pretty. I think I'm gonna keep this one. I do really like Margin. Look at that. That's so, in focus, so pretty. It's like a apricot-y beigey with like that frost. I'm gonna keep that one. This one is Prim and Proper, and it's a satin finish. Now this one, I feel like it was a limited edition blush, so it really looks like, off the top of my head, it looks like, it reminds me of Dallas by Benefit. I'm gonna put it in the sell get rid of pile, but I am gonna look it up and see, and if it was limited edition, I might be a little bit more prone to keep it. That's just how limited edition goes. I know you guys can feel me if you're watching this video and sitting through this long video. This is Plum Foolery. It's a sheer tone shimmer. Oh, it's like a beautiful plum, obviously, as the name would imply, with a really beautiful, almost like raspberry golden sheen, but not like chunky sheen. It's just so pretty, but I can't. I'm gonna get rid of it. Okay, so here is bin number 2, the last one. So just pulling out of there, the first one is Mocha. Mocha is a matte finish, and I really like this one. It's neutral, but it is pink. It definitely is a pinky neutral. I mean, Mocha is like a great name for it. So I'm gonna hang on to that one. I like it. So Okay, this one is Sincere. And this one is a sheer tone blush. Honestly, a few of these are like, wow, I didn't realize that I had that, which is the reason I'm doing this video. So this is a, did I say it's called Sincere? It's a sheer tone blush. Oh, that is like velvet. And it's just a really neutral with a little bit of a hint to, or a hint of a, like a peachy beige almost. But I'm gonna get rid of it because I didn't even know that I had it, and that's a problem. Sunnibask. Sunnibask is a, I'm probably saying that wrong. Write it down. There's a long list of those. A sheer tone shimmer blush. That's really pretty. It's like a peachy coppery rose. I'm gonna get rid of it though because I am. This one is Modern Mandarin. It's a satin finish. I'm going to get rid of it. I can already tell just because I don't want to have a ton of these like bright colors in my collection. Look at that swatch though. That is like an orange. Peachy orange. Really beautiful. That would be ideal on medium or dark skin. I'm getting rid of that one. This one is Trace Gold. Ooh. That almost looks like it has a gray cast to it. Am I right? Trace Gold is a sheer tone shimmer. That is like buttery soft. You know, and I bet that would be really similar to NARS Luster blush. Or I think it's Terracotta by NYX, like the original. I'm going to keep that one. That's kind of intrigued by it, so I'm going to keep it. Next up is Tenderlean. Tenderlean is a sheer tone blush. And this is definitely, ooh, that is seriously so soft. This is going to have to go in the compare pile because it's like a nudie blush. So I'm going to put that in the maybe compare pile for now. This one is Pink Swoon. Is this, I feel like this might be discontinued. It's a sheer tone blush. I think this one is discontinued. It's just like a beautiful medium blue-based pink color. And I'm going to get rid of it because it's really beautiful, like I've been saying, like because I need a new adjective or something. It's gonna be similar to Doll Face by Tarte. And yeah, so this one was limited edition, and this is Hot Night. It's a frost finish. And look at that beautiful like bronze packaging. Ooh, that's really pretty, but I'm gonna get rid of it. It's just too dark. It's too bright and too much for me to work with. Look at that pigment though. Woohoo. Gonna get rid of that one. Okay, so next is Peaches. This is another Jaclyn Hill inspired purchase, which is probably like everything that I own. Sheer tone blush. Look at that. That's really pretty. But I would, a color like that, I'm gonna get rid of it because I would rather have something like Melba. Because to me, Melba is just a little bit more, it's like a similar tone, but it's a little bit more nudie neutral, so it's easier to wear. So I'm going to get rid of that one, even though I do love it. This is Dame. It was Dame, maybe it was Dame that was discontinued. This is a satin finish. Ooh, that's pretty. Just like a nice pink color. I don't know. It's really nice, but I feel like it's a dime a dozen, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Next up is Rosy Outlook. I feel like this one maybe was, oh, that's why I thought it was limited edition. This is actually a pro longwear blush. I think this is the only pro longwear blush that I own. I don't know why. It's just a really nice, almost want to say like a warm tone, everyday pink color. I'm going to get rid of it. Boom. Okay, next two are these little fun ones. Obviously these were limited edition, and I can already tell you that I'm actually going to get rid of both of these because I can't even tell you the last time I wore them. So this is Betty. I never knew what these cartoons were. I can't remember the name of the collection. Archie Girl, there you go. But I never watched them. I don't know if it just wasn't my generation or what the deal was. But this is a satin blush in the color Cream Soda. And it's just like a nudie peachy blush. And it is really, really, really pretty, but I know there's somebody out there that will enjoy it more because of the novelty of it than I would. It's a very pale, beautiful blush, but I'm going to get rid of it. And then this one is Veronica. I think she was like the bad girl from what I heard. This is also a satin finish, and it's called Prom Princess. I'm actually going to swatch it next to that color up there, which was the Hot Nights color. I mean, look at those. They're very, well, I guess they don't look as similar on the viewfinder, but okay, so it is a little different. Let me swatch it down here now. Almost has like a purple. It's like a magenta purple. Like I said, I'm going to get rid of that one. 2 more blushes only to go through. Okay, this one is Prism, and I already know I'm going to be putting that one in my nude blushes to compare here in a moment. Prism is a matte finish, and it's just a really nude blush. So there's Prism. We'll see what I'm going to do with that one. And then this one is Pinch Me. Pinch Me is a sheer tone blush. That's actually really pretty. It's not as like peachy corally as like a lot of the other ones that I have. It almost has like a burnt rose hint to it, but I'm gonna get rid of it for now. You know, and if I ever get rid of something and then I have like reverse buyer's remorse, of like getting rid of remorse, then I'll just repurchase it. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal to me at all to do that. Maybe I want it in like 6 months or 8 months or a year, then I'll just repurchase it. Okay, so these are the 5 that are kind of maybes. I'm gonna compare them and see. They're all like my neutrally nudie blushes. So first up is Blushbaby, and that was a sheer tone. So I'm gonna just kind of compare them for you. And then was Cubic, which is a satin finish. And then Tenderlean, which is a sheer tone. That looks a little different when you actually compare them side by side. Buff, which is a matte finish. And Prism, which is also a matte finish. So go ahead and swatch them. There was Blushbaby swatched. And then this one is Cubic. This one is Tenderlean. My hand is getting a little bit dried out. That's why it looks swatched kind of patchy, because I've been removing all these. My hand's a little dried out. I hadn't reapplied lotion because I didn't want the lotion to like soak up the swatches. And then this one is Buff. Buff, yeah, it was really hard to grab pigment of it. I don't know. I feel like I have a bad one. I don't know. Do you guys see that though? It's so weird. I bet it was probably like I traveled with it and got too cold or too hot on the airplane. That's what I'm guessing. I don't know. And then last is Prism. So Prism is definitely different. Okay, so this is Tenderlean in the middle. I'm going to get rid of that one. I just don't love him. These two, Blushbaby and Cubic. Blushbaby and Cubic. So Blushbaby and Cubic. Oh, that is so hard. I'm going to keep Cubic and get rid of Blushbaby because they're pretty close. And then Buff, I don't know what the situation with it. I feel like I shouldn't sell it because I'm going to get rid of it. So I'll see if anybody wants to buy it, and if they don't, because it is a little like sketchy as far as that goes, I'll just back to MAC it. And then this one is Prism. And I feel like Prism is dark enough or different enough than the other ones. I don't know. I'm going to get rid of Prism. So out of all of those nude ones, I just kept, where are you? Cubic. So there's my winner. I was just counting how many there are in my saving or keeping pile, and I went to this one, which was Full of Joy. It's a frost finish, and I'm gonna actually put that one in the get rid of pile because I just don't wear that color enough, that like lavender color. So I'm gonna get rid of that one. So that actually brings my, wipe that off, my keep pile to 15 blushes. Only 15 blushes. I'm so proud of myself. And then the get rid of pile there are 29 blushes. So I did really, really well. I'm super excited to pass these along. Well, I mean, I'm selling them, so I will be making some money off of them. But give them to homes, you know, where they're going to be loved more, because that's what makeup is all about. You don't want just stuff sitting around. At least I don't. So, a couple of things. Thank you for watching, you guys. Let me know, like, what decluttering you want to see next. I'll try to do them more declutter sooner than later. I know it was a while ago now that I did my MAC lipstick video, but it's a lot of work doing the sale, like packaging and corresponding and stuff. So that's why it's taking so long. But let me know like what you want to see next. I'll probably do foundations and concealers. I know that's been requested, and I can just go through and do like the rest of my blush collection, which I might split up. I can do bronzers. I can do, yeah. And then also let me know like how long of a video you want. I know you can go back and obviously watch it again if you want to watch half of it and the other half. But let me know like what's too long. My MAC lipstick video was, my declutter was 30 minutes or something. This one's probably going to be 30 or 40. At the same time, I don't want it to be confusing. I don't want to have to break it into like 4 parts. That might be confusing. So just let me know like what's a good average, and I'll just see what people say. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to check the blog post for a list of everything I'm getting rid of and keeping, and then follow me on Instagram for updates on the makeup sale. Hopefully the makeup sale will be within the next couple weeks of when you're seeing this video. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you later. Bye.